Hi everyone, I'm Heather Heidi. I'm a program manager on the Microsoft Project and Planner team. Today, along with my colleague George Bullock, we'll be talking about an overview of Microsoft Project. We'll start with doing an update on all the project applications. Then we'll talk about Project for the Web. First, the vision for it to give you kind of the overview of how you should think about Project for the Web. Then we'll do a demo, and then we'll come back and wrap it all up. For Project Desktop Client, you have two options. You can get the subscription, which gives you Project Online Desktop Client, and it comes with Project Plan 3 and Project Plan 5. And this is a subscription, so you always have the latest and the greatest version of Project, plus access to things like Project for the Web and more. Alternatively, you can buy it through Perpetual, which is a one-time purchase, and that will have a new version of Project available later this year. Project will follow the same schedule as Office LTSC. LTSC, for those of you who like abbreviations, is Long-Term Servicing Channel, but that just really means the next version of the Project client. For Project Server, we will also have a new version coming out this year, and again, we will follow the same schedule as SharePoint Server. For Project Online, our goal continues to be delivering a modern world-class extensible project management solution that is seamlessly integrated with Teams. We are committed to supporting our customers on Project Online and helping them transition to Project for the Web. No end of support date has been set for Project Online, but when the time comes, we will communicate our plans on the transition path and give you plenty of advance notice. Now, speaking of Project for the Web, I'd like to introduce my colleague George, who will give you an overview.
Thank you, Heather. Always a pleasure to work with you. Hi, my name is George Bullock, and I'm Product Marketing Manager for Microsoft Project. I am really excited to be with you virtually at the Reimagine Project Management with Microsoft conference to share Microsoft's vision for project management. We talk to a lot of customers at Microsoft, and one of the things we hear again and again, especially about work management and project management, is something we call the work management gap. It really starts with this idea that we all manage projects, but we're not all trained to manage projects. We believe collaboration is critical, and we find that our customers who are using Teams heavily are really able to improve their collaboration, but for many people, many enterprises, collaboration is still chaotic and happens in hallways, in documents, in chats, and in emails. And then today's teams want to manage work the way that makes the most sense for the team and for the work. But often the legacy tools they're provided with are inflexible, hard to use, and don't support multiple ways of working. Because of this, one of the key results we see, which you might call shadow IT or tool proliferation, is this idea that teams go and choose their own tools. They might pick a free tool, they might credit card swipe and get a few licenses to a lightweight online tool, and they start working and succeeding. But now, data's everywhere, and it's hard. Even simple tasks like creating a status report or communicating status can be very time-consuming and require either rekeying data or manually getting data from people. And finally, we really want to make better decisions using the data that we have. But because of the situation, it's hard for anyone to get the big picture in real time. At Microsoft, we're excited because we believe we're in a unique position to help our customers bring all their project management data together across the Microsoft platform in a single connected work management platform that brings together all of these Microsoft services and the capabilities that the services provide. Now, as Heather will show you in her upcoming demo, Project for the Web is built on Office groups, and so it is natively integrated with Office 365. And this brings in Teams, Planner, To-Do, Outlook, SharePoint, and more. Furthermore, because Project for the Web is built on the Power Platform, Power BI is our native reporting engine. And with PowerApps and Power Automate, customers, partners, and ISVs can configure and customize Project for the Web to meet unique business needs, as well as develop ground-up customizations and applications. And in one of the other sessions that I'm doing, we'll really dive into that with our Project Accelerator solution. Now, another capability of Project is what we call the roadmap capability. With this capability, project, program, and portfolio managers can bring projects together from Project for the Web, Project Online, and even Azure DevOps to build visual roadmaps that will allow them to track progress across multiple work streams. And finally, Project for the Web stores all of its data in the Microsoft Dataverse. This allows customers, partners, and ISVs to customize tables, add custom fields, and even add new tables to meet business needs. And because that data is all in the Dataverse, integration with other systems is very easy and straightforward. Now, with all that, our vision for work management is simple. We want to empower teams to work the way they want while enterprises get the results they need. Going forward, at Microsoft, we are working to bring together our tools and technologies to help organizations connect work across the enterprise, from the shop floor to the top floor, and to help them keep people, teams, and information aligned from strategy to execution. It starts with Microsoft Teams, the hub for collaboration, visibility, and work management. With Teams, executives can communicate strategy and track progress across portfolios. Project teams can collaborate, manage projects, and communicate status. Teams and individuals can collaborate on all types of work and manage the execution of that work. And frontline workers can stay in control of their daily tasks and responsibilities. Frontline workers need to complete work assignments, collaborate with team members on assignments, and even build and use apps that simplify work requirements. These frontline workers can use Teams for collaboration and task management. Microsoft Lists is there to help track and organize information. And with To-Do, workers can track individual tasks with the confidence that they'll be able to access and update tasks as they work, no matter which Microsoft application they're using. And with PowerApps and Power Automate, everyone is empowered to quickly build and share low-code applications. Now, information workers need to do many things, including collaborating with teams to complete work and developing content that supports initiatives. For managing task-driven efforts, Microsoft Planner helps organize teamwork using intuitive, collaborative visual task management. And with tasks in Microsoft 365, team members can use app mentions within comments in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint to create and assign tasks. Complex projects often require more power, intelligent scheduling, dependencies, reporting, and more. And today's project managers want a tool that is easy to use, but that grows to meet the complexity of the work. And that's where Project for the Web comes in, as you'll see in Heather's demo. Project for the Web helps you stay organized, focused, and in charge, from small projects to large initiatives. And the upcoming Microsoft Project Accelerator solution is just one example of how enterprises can harness the Power Platform and combine it with Project for the Web to meet important project and program management needs. And I hope to see you in my other session where I'll be demonstrating the power of the Accelerator solution. Now, in the C-suite, executives need to create and communicate enterprise strategic plans, use real-time dashboards and reports to make decisions, and track strategic initiatives against deadlines. I talked about the project roadmap capability, and this allows organizations to create these visual timeline views of strategic initiatives and drive them together to achieve business goals. And with Power BI, executives can discover actionable insights in project data to help make informed decisions fast and plan confidently for what's next. And now I'm going to hand things over to my most worthy constituent, Heather Heide, who will show you what Project for the Web is all about. Take it away, Heather.
Thanks, George. Now here is Project for the Web, and I will do a quick demo of it. So we start on the project home screen, where you can see your projects from your favorited ones to the ones that have been shared with you, the ones you've created. So this is kind of your spot to get going. But I'm going to start by creating a new project. And you'll notice to get going, I don't need to put in any additional information. I can just click to create a new project. And right away, I'm in my project, and I can start adding tasks to it. So let me just add a few tasks. And I can name my project too if I want to. So we'll say, hi, conference. And then I can set my start date, and that will just determine when my tasks are going to be scheduled. Now I can start adding more information to my task. So let's create our task hierarchy. So I'm going to select those tasks and I'm going to indent them. And I want to start thinking about who's going to work on these tasks. And when I type in here, you'll notice that we are searching of all of Active Directory. So I can easily assign a task to anybody I work with. So I work a lot with Jeannie, so I want her to work on this one. And now I need to share my project. So I can either create a new Office 365 group or I can add to an existing one. And you know, I already work with my team on the green team, and this is who's going to be executing this project too, so I'm just going to share the project with them. And now the great thing about that is not only does Jeannie have access to this project, but everybody else on my team will now have access to this project too. And you can see them all here, and I can start assigning them to tasks as I want to. Now you'll notice that when I created task, I only had to put a task name in, but I can continue to add additional information to this task. So let me insert a few more columns. And now as I start to add scheduling information to my task, you'll see that the tasks are scheduled out and now have start dates, that start date being my project start date. I can also add additional columns though. So these are the columns that we provide, but say you want a new column to track something specific to this project. So some of the tasks in this project need to have a legal review. So I'm going to add a yes/no field, and I'm going to say legal review. Create that. Now my column is available in this project on all tasks, and I can start setting this one's yes and this one's yes. Now, one of the things with project is the ability to link tasks to really start to build out your project schedule. So one thing we've done is we will actually suggest your neighboring task, because we've found that that's the most common thing that people will link their task to. But you can also type to search. So if I type cat, that will find that task, and my task is now linked. If I ever forget what task 2 is, I can hover over it and simply see. Speaking of linking tasks, we have a better view for that. Let's go to the timeline view. And this is a fully interactive view where I can drag and drop to link all my tasks together. As I'm laying out my project plan in a very visual manner, you can see as I link my task, the task move out to respect that link. And then, you know, I can also change durations here. I'm like, ooh, I don't think the second task quite needs to be a week. Let's move that in a little bit. And you can see how the rest of my project immediately adjusts itself. Now let's switch to a project that's farther underway. So here's my market research project, and you can see this has a lot more information in it. You can see there's some notes that have been added, some attachments. I have some highlighting here to help tell me where there could be problems. So this task is pretty late, so that's why it's red, and then I have a couple tasks that are due today, so those are also being highlighted for me. But the good news on this task is I've actually finished it. So let me drill into this task. And I had to do a requirements doc. So everyone can find this. I'm going to attach the document to this task. I come in here. And the great thing about this project being connected to that same Office 365 team, my green team, is that any document I've been working on as part of this team is also available to me. So I'm just going to scroll down here and pick my research document, save it, and now this document is attached to this task, so anybody who's wondering, you know, what went on with this task can easily find it. And I'm going to mark the task complete. Yay! All done with this one. I no longer have that red highlighting telling me that I am late. Now let me switch to the board view. Now you can see by default we are grouped by buckets, and a bucket is anything you want it to be. It could be a process, which I have shown here. It could be by geographics, it could be by team, etc. Buckets are anything you want them to be. And the board works just how you would expect it. So I can pull tasks up to rearrange them. I can drag my tasks between the columns, and everything's being updated behind the scenes to set that to be the bucket. And this is the same task data that I was just seeing in the grid and timeline view, just a different visualization on top of it. I can also group by assigned to. So now I can see myself, who's Nancy, everything that's assigned to me, everyone assigned to the rest of my team, and this is a great view to use, you know, when we're having those team conversations. And in fact, Brooke told me yesterday that she was going to work on this task, so I can simply drag it to her, and now that task has been updated to be assigned to Brooke. Speaking of my team, I've been showing you everything in the project view. But we also have a Teams app. So that way everyone on your team not only has access, but is right there where they work, so don't have to remember another URL to go to. So let me click on market research. And now the same project I was just looking at is being loaded here, and for all of my team members to see, I can even pull up my comments pane alongside of it and add comments to the team. So remember, I just assigned that task to Brooke. So at Brooke, updated the task assignment per discussion. So she knows that I have taken care of that. And now you know this is team, so she'll see that notification in and can easily come in here again to see what I was working on. Now, one thing I haven't shown yet is now I have the project open in 2 screens. And as you see, this is the same exact data. This is a task I had marked complete. But let's pull it out and show one real thing that we're very excited about with this version of project is that you have a full co-auth experience. So as I mark a task complete, you'll see that that updates over here. Click to insert a new task. You will see that task show up in the other view immediately too. So hi. You can see that here. So full co-auth, so very exciting to be able to show that. Now, no one works on one project at a time, right? Most of us are working on several projects together. And for that, we have our roadmap view. So I'm going to switch over to my other team tab, so my more general one, and go into yearly planning. And now I can see a couple projects that the team is working on more at a high level view, right? This isn't all the tasks in the projects. These are the kind of tasks that are like the big milestones, the big phases, and maybe the ones that, you know, when we do our leadership reviews that we want to talk about. So here's that same project that I just showed you, market research. And here's, again, the high-level task from it. And I can set the status of these, so how they're doing. So let's see, this one, you know, at risk, maybe I want to talk about it a little, etc. And now the great thing is that these tasks you're seeing here all are the same as the ones in my project. So through the power of Power Automate, we have a flow that we hook up. So that way, as you're making changes in your project, the changes show up here. And let me just show you how easy it is to add another task. So I want to add more items to this project, to this roadmap row. And here you'll see that same project I was just showing you. Remember, there's my task high. Let me scroll down a little bit. The project schedule plan, you know, that's giving us some trick. Like I want to add it to the roadmap so that way in our leadership review, we can talk about this and maybe come up with a plan. And that one's right here. And I'm going to set it to be a high risk because, as I said, you know, not going too hot. It needs to be discussed. And I can do that for each project that I add to the roadmap. Again, choose which tasks I show, and then choose what their status should be. Now at this top row, we have what we call key dates. And these are the dates that everybody who's working on this set of projects needs to know about. You know, we have an upcoming conference, we have our V2 release, maybe we have something at the beginning of April, offsite that we need to prepare for. So bring that here. So yeah, on April 5th, we're doing that. And then this is, again, you know, probably could be a little better at risk right now. So again, that way we can concentrate on this at our next leadership review. Now, I know you're seeing this and you're thinking, hopefully at least, all this looks great so far, but like, how do I really customize this to meet my team's needs? How can I, you know, add our processes to it? How can I get all the fields we need that we track around projects? And that is where the Project Power App comes into play. So let me switch to that now. And with PowerApps, you can do tons of customizations. You can add more fields. You can add business processes behind the scenes to manage, say, your project request. And that is what I'm showing here. And to get you started, we have the Project Accelerator that we have recently released that basically just adds these customizations, and then you can take it the next step. So with the Project Accelerator, you get a project request experience, you get programs, and then you get issues and risk and change management, which I'll also show you at the project level. But let's start with project request. So I can see that I have a couple, so I'm going to click here to go in and view those records. And then with these, all these fields are completely customizable. So anything you see here, you're like, oh, we don't want request date. Well, you can remove it. For priority, we need to have a 5th priority called super duper critical. You can easily add that. And that's all through the power of PowerApps. And what PowerApps likes to say is they are a no-code, low-code platform. So if you know how to do formulas in Excel, then they say that you can do PowerApps. So that was project request. And again, you can hook those up to Power Automate if you want to have more of a business process around those. And we've also added programs. So you have a lot of projects going on. You want to be able to organize them into programs so you can look a little higher level how everything is going. So here's my programs. And again, everything can be customized. So if you want different columns, etc., you can do that. But I'm going to drill into our compliance program because while these might not be the most exciting projects, they're fairly critical to the business, right, to be able to do these. So I can see now a little higher level how everything's going. So I have my overview, I have my program start and finish, which is rolling up from all the projects that are part of this program. I can see my financials. So here's what the program's been budgeted versus how much has been spent on the project so far. I can see the status, again, a roll-up of the projects, plus I can set it at this level. So I can kind of take what was going on at the project level and be like, ooh, this program, on track sounds right, like at risk, like I think we're gonna go off track for this program. And then I can also see which projects are here and then drill into them. So let me drill into our compliance updates project. And then now you'll see, I'll show you there's the same information that I was showing before at the task level, but I have additional forms available too to fill out. So I have my summary, again, doing just my high level, how my project's going, and I can set all this myself. I have the business case, kind of, why should we do this project? What's the goals of it, etc. I have the financials, so, how much money have I been allocated? How much do I think I'm gonna spend? How much have I spent? I have the team, the people who are working on the project, and then I have the task. And you'll notice that this task view is the same task view that I was showing before. It is just now within the PowerApp, so you have all your information together. So you'll have the grid showing up. Here's all my tasks from this project. I have that same board view I showed you, and again, the same timeline view. But there's also other information, right? Like, no project's perfect. If you have the perfect project, well, congrats. But for all the rest of you, you can also track the risk of that project, so things that could happen. And again, you have all these. I can drill into these, edit, what's going to happen here, what's the latest on it, what we think the impact's going to be, etc. I have the same for issues, so I can see what are the issues around my project, who's handling this issue right now, what the latest status on that. I can even have change management for, oh, because of this issue, we had to add these changes, or because of, customer requests, etc. Here's why the project changed over time. And then finally, I have the status of the project. And this is what, as you saw, rolled into that program. And then you can also even do status reports. So I did one for January just to say, hey, we got pretty much done what we wanted to in January. We're on track. We can do those monthly, weekly. Again, up to you. And the fields that are available in those are fully up to you. Again, everything I've been showing you, that's what's come with the Project Accelerator. Now, last but clearly not least, is you can't have a project demo without showing reporting, because we all know there's tons of data in projects, and the high-level view of the project is normally the most important. How much is it going to cost? When's it going to get done? That kind of thing. Who has the most work, etc. So here's the Power BI report template that we provide, and then you can take it and you can customize it. It's in Power BI, so if you don't like how we've done the graphics, you can change that. If you don't want this information, this field in your report, you can pull that out, and then you can add those reports that you've added yourself. But this one just shows me, here are all the projects that I'm a part of, how they're doing. I can get more details on them. I can even drill into specific projects if I want to. So instead of looking high level, let me drill into a single project. So here's my overview. And let me go to that market research project that we were looking at earlier. And I can see, at the project level, how everything's going. I'm like, okay, it has this many hours remaining. Here's the late tasks, etc. Here's what we need to work on. And then I can also look from a resource point of view to see both high level, who has the most work assigned to them, who has the most remaining. Maybe we can do some load balancing here. You see that Peter's fairly low on it. Maybe that's okay. Maybe he's not working full time. And then I can even drill in to see more details on who's doing what. So I can see Brooke here on the customer service ramp up. She has a bunch of tasks in March, but this looks okay. So it just gives me a good overview about what everyone on my team is doing. So for next steps, couple call to actions here. Try out project. Hopefully what you saw excited you, you like it, please try it out. To try it out, go to project.microsoft.com. If you don't have a license, you will need to sign up for a trial. Watch more sessions. There's tons of sessions we posted here that cover many different aspects of project. I encourage you to watch them all. And of course, participate in the roundtables. We will have a bunch of roundtables just talking to customers like you, where we love to get feedback and your opinions on a variety of topics. And with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.